Hello, Tom Maguire. I haven't done a book review for about 2 or 3 weeks now, which is probably the longest I've ever gone since starting doing these reviews 2 or 3 years ago or whenever it was, so I apologise for that. Still in chaos, still building the house. It's nearly done now, but I'm stood here on all sorts of crap. I can barely move. I've thrown some lights there just to show that it's Christmas. I've decorated the whatever the hell that thing is, so I apologise, but yeah, I can barely even get to the mic. But anyway, just want to do a quick review of The Comfort Book by Matt Haig, which I listened to recently on Audible. I didn't read this one, I've listened to it. Narrated by Matt Haig as well. He's very popular at the minute. I highly recommend some of his stuff. I've only read 2 of his books now. The other one was The Midnight Library. I reviewed that a little while ago, a year or so ago. That was really, really good. I really enjoyed that. He's very good at fiction as far as I'm concerned. He's written quite a few award-winning books. He's written a Christmas book for children called A Boy Called Christmas, which has recently been put into a TV programme or feature film apparently for 2021. Apparently with an all-star cast, so that sounds quite good. He sold more than 3 million books in the UK, and his work has been translated into over 40 languages apparently. So there you go, pretty good. Yeah, no, I like him. He was one of those authors who I'd heard about from different people, and as usual I made my sort of judgments, and as usual I was proven wrong. I kind of felt as though, I just felt the sort of people who were talking about him, he was going to be really fluffy and a bit pathetic, and actually it's not like that at all. He's far better than that, and this book, The Comfort Book, although it's a bit of a fluffy title, isn't fluffy and pathetic. It's really, really quite interesting. It's really worth listening to. This is a personal development channel. I'm always talking about how books can help us improve ourselves, and this one is definitely worthwhile in that respect. In fact, it gets criticised in some reviews for being a bit too hard-edged in a way. I saw a couple of reviews, people sort of saying that he's a bit joyless and doesn't have much hope and things, and I don't really agree with that. I think he was just kind of trying to make the point that actually life is life, and certain facts are certain facts, you know, death and all those things that get us down. But actually he sees it from a bit more of a stoic point of view, which I really quite like. If you follow this channel, you'll realise that already. It's a bit more on the line of the kind of Jordan Peterson stoicism type way of seeing things, which for me is far more effective than just sort of saying that everything's okay and you're going to be okay and don't worry about it kind of thing. For me, it was a bit of a combination. It was a bit of a warm sort of arm around your shoulder to sort of keep you feeling comfortable, but at the same time, a little bit of a challenge as well. Actually, you can do things to improve your life and to improve things for yourself. He describes in detail what it feels like to be anxious and how devastating depression is, and he went through his own depression, so he talks about that a little bit throughout the book. He gives the reader certain tools that we can use to sort of survive and thrive and get through life. Daily routines, being accepting of certain things, being accepting of anxiety. That's what, you know, all the most sort of successful, for want of a better sort of word, most successful people do. They accept there's a certain amount of anxiety in life. You know, it isn't some kind of new diagnosis that we all have to sort of diagnose ourselves with. Obviously, some people struggle with mental health. Of course they do. I'm not suggesting that for a second. You know, and some people struggle much more than others. Of course they do. But a lot of people nowadays, I think, just tend to sort of immediately sort of go to bits as soon as, you know, they've experienced a certain amount of anxiety, and you have to accept that emotions come and they go, and there's good and bad and everything. So he mentioned some of the best philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, Emily Dickinson, which I really liked hearing those names mentioned. And I just think he's got quite a good philosophy on life, basically. Yeah, so at one point he calls humans cosmic miracles. And in this review that I read, it says that the reader can feel his anxiety on every page. And I sort of thought, well, yeah, to a certain extent, but he kind of gives us a little bit of hope alongside that. I think, yeah, you can feel his anxiety to a certain extent because he's telling you that things can be difficult and he's gone through difficult times. But I think he was coming up with enough sort of tools and suggestions and ideas and nice way of putting things that was quite inspiring as well for me personally. So yeah, really good book. I highly recommend it. Certainly as a listen, it was very easy. I was painting the house at the time when I listened to it, and I got through it in no time. It's only a few hours long, but very easy to listen to. I imagine the book's equally as good to read as well. And he's done some fantastic books apparently, so I'm going to read some more of his stuff for sure. I highly recommend it. So yeah, if like me you thought he was kind of fluffy and a bit pathetic, then you might, like me, decide that you're wrong about that actually. So yeah, give him a chance. Matt Haig, The Comfort Book, very, very good. Thank you very much as usual for listening, and please like and subscribe. See you again soon. Cheers.